Now, news of a big blow for Paris Saint-Germain this evening. Neymar has been ruled out for the rest of the season with an ankle injury. The Brazil forward has vowed to come back stronger and he'll have surgery in the next few days after numerous problems with his ankle. PSG say he'll be out for up to 4 months. Now, they face Bayern Munich on Wednesday, looking to overturn a 1-0 deficit in the second leg of their last 16 tie. Well, let's get some more reaction to that then. French football expert Jonathan Johnson joins us now. Jonathan, very good evening. So, how much of a blow is this to PSG?
Good evening. It depends on which way you look at it, because in recent weeks, when PSG haven't been able to field Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi and Neymar all together, things have actually been a little more straightforward on the pitch for PSG. I mean, you look at the way that they performed against Marseille and then performed against Nantes as well since Neymar's injury, and Messi and Mbappe were dovetailing nicely, and that bodes well for them ahead of that trip to Bayern Munich, where of course they're going to need to score a lot of goals. So I guess you can say that Kylian Mbappe's return from his injury sort of outweighs the loss of Neymar in terms of importance to the team on the pitch at this moment in time. But obviously, to lose a player of Neymar's caliber is a blow for PSG, especially if something were to happen to Mbappe or Messi in the coming games. So, I think this is something, for PSG where the wording of their statement is very important, because although we know that Neymar is pretty much out for the rest of the season, PSG don't actually confirm that sort of in the written medical updates. So with this, I think there's maybe some slim hope that Neymar might be able to be back sort of faster than the initial time frame that was laid out. But equally, there is a recognition in that wording, that this is something that has plagued Neymar, not just this season, but for a number of years now. We saw him suffer from it at the World Cup, again with the injury against Lille, but this is also, a recurring theme now for Neymar with PSG. Injuries interrupting, more than half of the seasons that he's actually now played with the club.
Sure. So, in the short term, does this make Christophe Galtier's job slightly easier, given he's got one superstar who's not in the way?
I think there is an argument to say that things are a bit more straightforward for Galtier, certainly going into that tie against Bayern Munich. And let's not forget as well, Presnel Kimpembe has effectively been ruled out for the remainder of the season as well with his Achilles tendon injury. So, Galtier's mission for that game is pretty simple now. Get the team to score, and win by at least 1 goal to take Bayern to extra time, win by 2 goals in order to advance. Tall order, yes, but, something that's doable based on the quality that PSG can put out on the pitch. But, certainly in terms of being able to get flexible with the way that PSG line up in that game and in the coming matches, then certainly I think that this is perhaps, alleviated Galtier's headache a little bit.
Is there confidence around PSG that they'll overturn this deficit to Bayern Munich?
I wouldn't say that there's necessarily confidence, but I would say that yes, they do believe that they're capable of going to Munich, as they did a couple of years ago as well, and getting the victory. The big question mark for PSG is not over the attack, because we all know the quality of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi. The question mark is over the defence, and the defence has been pretty wretched all season. Certainly since the World Cup break, it has not been the same PSG that we saw going unbeaten over the first half of the season up until Qatar.
In the summer, do you expect big changes at the club?
I don't know if I would expect sweeping changes in the way that we saw last summer, where PSG moved out a raft of players and obviously changed manager, but you can never say never. I mean, it's not expected that PSG would drop out of the Champions League in the round of 16, despite, a number of these bad luck instances like Neymar's injury, like Kimpembe's injury as well. But equally, I think it's now going to be quite difficult for PSG to move on the likes of a Neymar, certainly be difficult to move on the likes of a Kimpembe, without these guys coming back and playing matches and proving their fitness. So it could be that Neymar's injury actually dictates potentially the future of the likes of Lionel Messi and Sergio Ramos, given that both are on expiring contracts which finish this summer, and PSG are yet to extend either of them.
That's interesting. And finally, what do the Qataris at the club make of the flirtation with Manchester United?
That's a good question. I think a lot of the time when there's been suggestions that these two, bids are linked, there's immediately been, moves made to point out that these would be, quite separate, despite the obvious link, between Qatar, PSG, and Manchester United at this moment in time. However, the links between, PSG's Qatari ownership and a potential stake in a Premier League club is nothing new. We heard the whisperings about the Tottenham Hotspur interest a couple of months ago, so I guess we will see where that one goes, but it's certainly something that is sort of on the radar now in Paris.
Interesting time. Jonathan, as always, great to speak to you. Thank you very much.